my only question is, how much loss do I have on these individual channels? So let's determine that. So I'm going to turn the VFL off on the Cable Master FO. Okay. And I'm going to, well, I've moved it to the pulse function. Let's turn that off. Oops. There we go. So we're off there. And now we're going to go to the other port here. Okay. And I'm on 1310, which is the correct wavelength for this single mode application. I'm going to grab a source here. We're going to essentially do a light source power meter test with this device. And I'm going to use an SFP here. This is a simple 1 gig SFP that is 1310 nanometers. So it's a single mode SFP. That's what we want. So we're going to use this as my source, and I'm going to load that into the Link Expert M3. Okay. I'm in there, and I'm going to come out, and I'm going to go to one of the other functions in this tool, which is the transmit receive option in the fiber optic menu. Okay. And you can see it's already filled in the metadata from that SFP. So I'm essentially also testing the SFP here. And I can see the power out in a couple different values. I can see it in milliwatts, but I can also see that in dBm. I can see the transmit out in milliwatts. And if I loop the fiber back into this SFP, I would also see the receive power in dBm and in milliwatts. Okay. And with the new version of firmware, I even see the difference in transmit receive on this. So if I was doing a loopback scenario, I could do that. So you could do that. But again, we're doing end to end here. So I really would like to have a second device. That's where the Cable Master FO comes in. Okay. So let's set up a simple little reference here. So I've got just a single LC cord here. And I'm going to couple these two fibers together. Okay. And we're going to zero out the loss here. So this is a reference and procedure. So I'm zeroing out the loss. And again, let's move some of these fibers out of the way so we have a clear understanding about what's happening here. These other fibers that are in my messy work area. All right. So let's take a look. Away from the fiber being tested, right, that MPO circuit, I simply have a fiber out of my source going to a coupler and then coupled to a second fiber, which is coming into the Cable Master FO on this side. And I've got a power value being registered here. Okay. So 6.06 coming out and 5.95 coming in. Let's zero this out. Okay, so I'm actually going to set the reference. And what that does is that's going to say whatever loss is associated with these things is going to be our 0 point. And then any additional fiber we connect to it after that will be we'll get a measurement for in loss in dB. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to zero this out. Let's choose the reference. There we go. So now we're zeroed. Okay. And now, if you're two technicians, you're going to go, one of the technicians is going to be the unlucky one who has to take a walk to the opposite side. So let's do that. We'll separate the two fibers here in the middle. And I'm going to connect to fiber number 1 on this side. And remember our polarity, how we just figured that out. And I'm going to connect to fiber number 1 on this side. Let's bring that back into view here. And I quickly have a loss value, 1.3 dBs from end to end. That would be from cassette 1 through the spool of fiber, wherever that's running in your facility, to cassette 2, all the way through cassette 2. I have a value, 1.3 dB. Let's save that value. Saved. Okay. Let's now move to fiber 2. Even better, 0.97 on fiber 2. Let's save that value. You can see it's being shown as save number 10 there. I've got other results on this device. And now another value, 0.75. Let's save that. Even better, actually, 0.49. Let's save that. Saved. Great numbers here. Excellent numbers. Let's go to fiber 4. 0.92. Very good. Saved. Let's move on to fiber number 5. 5.86. Let's save that. Let's move on to fiber 6. We're halfway through this entire multi-strand setup. 0.8. Let's save that. Point 0.6. Let's save that. Great numbers. I'm very happy with what we're seeing here. We'll talk about that in a moment. Remember TIA standards for single mode and multi-mode values here, or sorry, single mode connections. 0.75 dBs per connector, 0.3 per splice. And we've got a few connections in this link, plus the length of the fiber. We should be very happy with the numbers that we're seeing here. 1.29 dBs on that fiber. Let's save it. 11. And again, there would be 2 people working this, obviously, in the field. Let's save that. 0.48. Very happy with that. And final value, 0.95 dB on fiber 12. Let's save it. That's that. So now I have saved all loss values from end to end on fibers 1 through 12 on this entire link. All the values here seem to be very reasonable. That's just me using kind of the back of the napkin calculation there for loss. Remember, you've got 0.75 dBs per connector, 0.3 per splice, and we've got multiple connections in this link and some length of the fiber here. So we should be very happy with this. It's a quick way to verify that your equipment is correct, that it is quality. Okay, I can see that I have connectors and components mated correctly together. In other words, the trunk itself is mated properly to this cassette, and this cassette also is mated properly on the opposite side. I obviously don't have any broken fibers. I don't have incorrect polarities to deal with. None of that. This is an excellent and quick test to prove that you are doing that you've got things right here in this setup. So that is Cable Master FO, small device here, and Link Expert M3 from Softing.